Yes, so this is a new series I've come up with. It's called In Retrospect. This idea has been floating around for a while. And so, yeah. The Daily Motion, in retrospect, will remain musical. So, if you want other versions or other types, go to my YouTube channel, Mr. Monster Guy. They won't be up every day or anything like that, but just keep a watch out if you're into that kind of stuff. But anyways, yes. So in retrospect, basically I'm just going to talk about my, if you will, journey through different music, bands, genres, that kind of thing. And I'm starting with the first band I ever got into. Now, beforehand, before I got into Crush 40, there was, I had been listening to music a lot. I mean, even when I was very, very little, we would always hear. My mom would always put on Elton John CDs, or Neil Diamond or Billy Joel, or sometimes Keith Urban or John Mayer, that kind of stuff. And those kind of served as kind of a not foundation, but just music that I grew up listening to. We did listen to little kids' music too, but mainly it was, especially Elton John, Billy Joel, and Neil Diamond. I remember very, very well. It wasn't until later when John Mayer and Keith Urban CDs really became kind of prominent in that whole thing. Oh, and Cat Stevens, I think, for a while too. But yeah, basically on long car rides, those would be the kinds of artists that we would listen to. And I can't say that I got into them or anything like that, but I enjoyed a lot of what I heard. But it wasn't me getting into a band or artist. It was just me listening to what my my mom would put on in the car. It wasn't until around so I got into Crush 40 in around elementary school. My brother and I were huge video game people back then. We played a lot of games, and those included Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man, Mario, those kinds of games, and and other miscellaneous sorts of games. We weren't really into the first-person shooter thing back then. I mean, Mega Man was a good enough shooter for us. But yeah. So one of the games that really made, well, not one, but a couple of games that really made a musical impact on me personally, who I thought had fantastic soundtracks, were Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Heroes, and to an extent Shadow the Hedgehog too. And I know people don't really like Sonic Heroes, and they hate Shadow the Hedgehog, but I really liked a lot of the music that was in them, and especially Sonic Heroes. I actually really like them, but really musically, the Sonic games shine in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. Those were the Sonic games that I grew up playing a lot, pouring hours and hours of gameplay into those games, replaying them over and over and over again, refighting the last boss, trying to do it faster or whatever. And yeah, it was fun, but they all had killer soundtracks. When maybe around 5th grade came around, we went into kind of a Mega Man craze, which lasted. Before I go any further, what I mean by that is there were little not eras, kind of, where it would be like, how you have, the Bronze Age and then the Iron Age, that kind of thing. Well, this kind of works the same way with my brother and I in video games. Fourth and fifth grade was Sonic. Then sixth grade for me, late fifth grade to sixth grade was Mega Man. Very dominant Mega Man. And then it turned into like Metroid and stuff. It wasn't until around, I'd have to say, late seventh grade, actually early eighth grade, when we were playing Sonic games the way we did back, the couple years before, and because Sonic and the Black Knight and Sonic Unleashed came out, and I really liked the soundtracks for both those games. So we started getting back into, the whole Sonic thing. We started replaying the old games again, and in the credits, they had a list of music and the bands, whatever, and one of them was a band called Crush 40, and this was around the time where we discovered the magic of downloading music. And so we were like, when we heard about Crush 40, luckily we were able to find them, because, Crush 40 isn't a huge name. I'm actually surprised we were able to find what we did, but we got a lot of Crush 40 music, and they ended up being the sole band I listened to for almost a year. The only band that I listened to. When you're looking at Crush 40, at the time, a lot of the kids that I knew were listening to, the two bands that always were thrown around were Nickelback and Linkin Park. At least those were the bands that I heard a lot of. And I really didn't think much of it necessarily, but looking back, man, even in middle school, I was listening to more aggressive music than a lot of the kids in middle school and stuff. And one of the reasons why I think Crush 40 is, they made a huge impact on how I thought about music, because I really didn't have a favorite band or favorite genre of music. I really couldn't find a type of music that I liked. And it really wasn't until Crush 40 that I found what I liked. When I was little, we would turn on the rock station sometimes, and whenever they'd play like an acoustic or an older rock song, my brother and I would complain, be like, this isn't rock, blah blah blah, because my idea of rock music was distorted guitars all the time, cool solos and whatnot, and I guess Crush 40 kind of had that for me. And looking back, listening to Crush 40 music, and I'm like, whoa, I listened to that. Jeez, it was basically the epitome of music for me at that time, because they had such a wide variety of different songs. They had the songs like Live and Learn and Open Your Heart and what's that song called? I forgot its name. I Am All of Me. Those songs. And then you had songs like Live Life and Is It You? Songs like that. And they just have such a wide variety of music that I really had a hard time getting tired of them. And it was a really, really cool group to listen to. They basically Crush 40 basically defined musically defined my middle school and late elementary school. Well, not even that, but from 3rd grade to 5th, and then once again in 8th grade. All throughout there, that's all I really listened to was Crush 40. And and for the longest time, I never really brought it up, because when people were talking about music and stuff, they would always bring up, as I said before, Linkin Park and Nickelback, bands like that. And, I never really brought up Crush 40 because I was under the impression that because they made music for video games meant that they weren't a real band. I mean, it was basically 2 guys and a drummer that they would just hire. So I never really brought them up in any music conversations, but they don't make Sonic music anymore, which is kind of frustrating, because Johnny Joeli, since I was in 2nd, 3rd grade, to me was the defining singing voice of Sonic, and he's not singing Sonic songs anymore, so I don't know. The whole pop punk sound really doesn't do Sonic that much justice, even though I forgot the name of the song, but the Bowling for Soup song for Sonic Heroes was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, but I think Crush 40 could have done very, very much better. But yeah, and one of the other appeals was of Crush 40 for me was Johnny Joeli's vocal style, which was very, very cool. I really liked his melodic, but it had kind of an edge to it, which is really, it was basically what I was looking for. And also I really liked and I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong, but Jun Sino. In my opinion, back then he was the best guitar player ever, and believe it or not, Crush 40 way back then would end up defining a lot of what I listen to now. And I'm not saying that, in a way, not going into metal, but a completely different area of music, completely different region, if you will. And I didn't even know it, but those were sounds. Because I grew up listening not only to, what I said before, like Elton John, Neil Diamond, all that, but also video game music was a huge thing for me. And, those were basically the things that I really, really liked. And I think that's why a lot of music for me was kind of boring, because it sounded, I don't know. I'm gonna get into that much later, but Crush 40 was basically the dominant what's the word I'm looking for? The dominant band that I listened to for almost a year, because I listened to them a lot throughout 8th grade, but there was another band that came in during towards, like, kind of, how there's like a timeline, and it shows the rise of the Roman Empire. Then I see the Roman Empire rise, do all this stuff, and then rise of the Mayan Empire, and then right above that, like right after the Mayan Empire rise, the decline of the Roman Empire, that kind of thing. It was starting to decline, and it went very, very quickly because of this next band, which I will talk about later. But yeah, it was basically it served as a gateway drug, if you will, for music for me in general. Not only for the heavy metal hard rock area, but also another area that I'm very much, equally, if not more, into than metal. But yeah, we'll just have to see what that is later. What's the band that replaced Crush 40? Because I know it might sound kind of melodramatic to say that this band replaced Crush 40, but in essence it really did, because this next band completely just demolished everything. It became the only band I listened to for a long time, and let me tell you, it was a long time. So yeah, anyways, in retrospect, Crush 40 played and still does play a huge role on dictating what I listen to, just because of how especially John's guitar playing really set kind of in stone what kind of music I would end up getting into in the future. So yeah, tell me what you think about this video, man. Yeah. Peace.